He was beaten, jailed, and nearly killed for demanding equality, yet he never gave up on love, justice, or democracy. John Lewis was not just a witness to history, he helped bend it toward freedom. This is the powerful story of a man who taught the world how to get into good trouble. Chapter 1: Early Life. Roots of Courage. John Robert Lewis was born on February 21, 1940, near Troy, Alabama, the son of sharecroppers Eddie and Willie Mae Lewis. He grew up on a small farm, raising chickens and working the land. Life in the Jim Crow South was harsh, marked by segregation, fear, and inequality. From a young age, Lewis understood injustice. He attended segregated schools and witnessed the daily humiliation imposed on Black Americans. Buses, restrooms, restaurants, and schools were separated by race, and violence enforced the system. As a child, Lewis was deeply religious and dreamed of becoming a minister. He practiced sermons by preaching to his family's chickens, early signs of a voice that would one day move millions. Chapter 2: Inspired by Dr. King and Nonviolence. John Lewis's life changed when he heard Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. speak on the radio. King's message of nonviolent resistance resonated deeply with him. Lewis began studying the philosophy of nonviolence, believing it was not weakness, but moral strength. While attending American Baptist College in Nashville, Tennessee, Lewis became actively involved in civil rights organizing. He trained in nonviolent protest techniques under activist James Lawson, learning how to remain calm in the face of insults, arrests, and violence. These lessons would soon be tested. Chapter 3: The Nashville Sit-ins. In 1960, Lewis helped organize the Nashville Sit-ins, peaceful protests against segregated lunch counters. Students sat quietly while mobs hurled insults, poured food on their heads, and physically attacked them. Lewis was arrested multiple times, but he refused to fight back. The sit-ins eventually succeeded, leading to the desegregation of lunch counters in Nashville and inspiring similar actions across the country. This marked Lewis's emergence as a national civil rights leader. Chapter 4: Freedom. Rides. Facing. Violence. Head on. In 1961, Lewis became one of the original Freedom Riders, activists who rode interstate buses into the segregated South to challenge illegal segregation. The Freedom Rides were met with brutal violence. In Rock Hill, South Carolina, Lewis was beaten for trying to enter a whites-only waiting room. In Alabama, buses were attacked, burned, and surrounded by violent mobs. Despite broken bones and constant threats to his life, Lewis continued. His courage drew national attention and forced the federal government to enforce desegregation laws. Chapter 5: Chairman of SNCC Youth Leadership. At just 23 years old, John Lewis became chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, making him one of the youngest leaders in the civil rights movement. SNCC focused on grassroots organizing, voter registration, and empowering young people to challenge injustice. Lewis believed in disciplined nonviolence, even as tensions within the movement grew. He represented the moral conscience of the movement, firm, principled, and fearless. Chapter 6: The March on Washington. In August 1963, John Lewis helped organize the historic March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. He was the youngest speaker on the program, standing just before Dr. King delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech. Lewis's original speech was considered too radical by organizers, and he reluctantly softened parts of it. Still, his words carried urgency, demanding immediate action, not patience. The march helped push forward the Civil Rights Act and solidified Lewis's place in history. Chapter 7: Selma and Bloody Sunday. In 1965, John Lewis helped lead voting rights marches in Selma, Alabama. On March 7th, Lewis and fellow activist Hosea Williams led more than 600 peaceful demonstrators across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. They were met by state troopers armed with batons and tear gas. The attack, later known as Bloody Sunday, left Lewis with a fractured skull. Images of the violence shocked the nation and galvanized support for voting rights. Lewis nearly died that day, but he never regretted it. He believed suffering for justice was necessary to awaken America's conscience. Chapter 8: The Voting Rights Act. The brutality of Selma directly led to the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, one of the most important civil rights laws in U.S. history. John Lewis had bled for the right to vote. Now millions of Black Americans could finally exercise that right. His sacrifice had helped change the law of the land. Chapter 9. Stepping away, then stepping forward. By 1966, internal divisions within SNCC led Lewis to step down as chairman. Rather than retreat from activism, he expanded it. Lewis worked with community organizations, continued advocating for voter registration, and remained committed to nonviolence, even as the movement evolved. His moral clarity never wavered. Chapter 10. Entering politics. From protest to policy. In 1986, John Lewis was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives from Georgia's 5th Congressional District, a seat he would hold for more than 30 years. In Congress, Lewis was known as the bonne conscience of the House. He fought tirelessly for civil rights, voting rights, healthcare, and social justice. He believed protest and politics were not opposites, but partners. Chapter 11. Good trouble. John Lewis often encouraged young people to get into good trouble, necessary trouble. To him, trouble meant challenging injustice, questioning authority, and refusing silence. Even as a congressman, Lewis continued protesting. He was arrested during demonstrations for immigration reform, gun safety, and voting rights, well into his 70s. He never stopped marching. Chapter 12. Legacy and Final Years. In December 2019, John Lewis announced he had been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Even then, he continued advocating for justice, urging Americans to protect democracy and voting rights. Lewis passed away on July 17, 2020, at the age of 80. Tributes poured in from around the world. His body lay in state at the U.S. Capitol, an honor reserved for the nation's greatest heroes. Chapter 13. A Life That Changed America. John Lewis never sought fame. He sought justice. He believed love was stronger than hate, truth stronger than fear, and nonviolence stronger than brutality. From a farm in Alabama to the halls of Congress, his life proved that ordinary people, armed with courage, can change the world. Conclusion. The Eternal March. John Lewis taught us that democracy is not guaranteed. It must be protected, fought for, and renewed by every generation. His footsteps still echo on bridges, in streets, and in the hearts of those who believe freedom is worth the struggle. Get into good trouble, stay in it, and keep marching.